International Press Review with Florence VILLEMINOT. Hello, Florence.
Hi, Lorna.
So we're going to start out in Belgium because a court there is going to be deciding today whether or not to let the child serial killer Marc Dutroux out of jail. He's made a bid for early release.
That's right. Just for a reminder, he's Belgium's most notorious criminal because back in the 1990s he kidnapped 6 girls and held them and raped them in a very kind of dungeon-like cellar. 4 of them died. Now, he was sentenced to life in prison in 2004, but under Belgian law he can request an early conditional release after completing 1/3 of his sentence. Le Soir, the Belgian newspaper, the magazine version, interviews his mother in an exclusive interview, and she says that he should stay behind bars. She says she's sure that he will reoffend, and in quite shocking comment, she says, "One day he will get out of jail, but I hope I'll be dead the day that happens."
That is amazing comments there. We will, of course, be keeping people up to date with what happens in that case later today. But moving on to another story, grisly in a different way perhaps, the horsemeat scandal, another new twist in that.
That's right. This is in the UK. UK food regulators are launching an internal investigation after claims that their ministers were actually perhaps alerted over a year ago of the dangers of illegal horsemeat getting into the food chain. And this is an article you can read in the Financial Times today. It says that a former official at the Food Standard Agency says that he wrote a letter in April 2011 that warned that horsemeat could get into the food chain, and he said that this was because of a weakness in the passport system.
The horse passport system.
The horse passport system, yes.
Well, we're going to stay in the UK because the Independent newspaper there has an exclusive revelation about an arms deal between the UK and Sri Lanka.
That's right. This is on the front page of the Independent today, and it says that the UK is selling arms to Sri Lanka despite Sri Lanka's brutal regime. It says that Britain is selling £3 million, that's 3.5 million euros worth of small arms and ammunitions to Sri Lanka, despite the country's dire human rights record. Now, the Independent points out that the Foreign Office still classifies Sri Lanka as a country of concern for rights abuses. And if we take a closer look at a little graphic in the Independent, you can see the details of these weapons deals. For instance, there were 330,000 pounds worth of ammunition, 655,000 pounds worth of body armor. And the Independent points out that not all of this is for defense because there are also rifles, assault rifles, pistols, etc. So according to the Independent, the shopping spree, as they're calling it, is proof that the president, Mahinda Rajapaksa, he's been welcomed back into the international community despite what they call his behavior, the behavior of his armed forces during the last few months of 2009, during the last few months of the Civil War. Between 60,000 and 100,000 people died during the last few months of the Civil War with the ethnic Tamil community, which was fighting for a separate state. Now, in their editorial, the Independent points out that the British government is being very hypocritical here because back in the day it was very vocal about the fact that Sri Lanka was abusing human rights, and perhaps this change is due to the fact that Britain is concerned with the rise of China in the region.
Interesting. Well, moving on to another story now. Armenia is gearing up for a presidential election today, but the campaign was only a month long, but quite action-packed.
That's right. One candidate was shot in an assassination attempt, another one on a hunger strike. You can read more about it in Libération today that takes a closer look. The incumbent Serge Sarkisian is set to win this election. Libération points out how a lot of people are saying that the election was rigged.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed, Florence, for that look at today's international papers. Still to come here on Live from Paris, 40